The rain started without warning. One moment the sky was heavy and gray, the next it cracked open, soaking the empty stretch of highway in sheets of water. Cars sped past, tires hissing against asphalt, unwilling to slow down for anyone. On the shoulder, a silver sedan sat lifeless, hazard lights blinking like a quiet plea. Inside the car, Judge Eleanor Whitmore gripped the steering wheel, trying to keep her breathing steady. Her phone showed 1% battery. No signal, no roadside service willing to come out in the storm. She rested her forehead against the wheel. For the first time in years, the woman who decided other people's fates felt completely powerless. A few yards away, a city bus rumbled to a stop. The doors hissed open, and Caleb Johnson stepped down into the rain, pulling his worn jacket tighter around himself. Caleb had just finished a 12-hour shift cleaning office buildings downtown. His back ached, his shoes leaked. All he wanted was to get home to his small apartment and collapse. Then he saw the stranded car. He hesitated. Life had taught him to be careful. A black man stopping on a dark road in the rain didn't always end well. People asked questions, assumed things, sometimes called the police. Caleb checked the bus schedule posted at the stop. Next bus wouldn't come for another 40 minutes. He looked back at the car. The hazard lights blinked again, with a quiet sigh. Caleb stepped off the curb and walked toward the sedan, rain soaking his clothes. He stopped a safe distance away and raised his hand slightly. "Ma'am," he called out. "You okay?" Eleanor startled, then rolled down the window just enough to hear him. "My car died," she said, trying to sound composed. "I'm waiting for help." Caleb nodded. "Battery or engine?" "I don't know," she admitted. "It just stopped." Caleb glanced at the hood. "Mind if I take a look?" She hesitated, studying him, the soaked jacket, the tired eyes, the calm voice. "All right," she said finally. "Thank you." Caleb popped the hood, rain splashing his face. He leaned in, examining the engine like he'd done 100 times before. His father had taught him cars long before the courts took his father away. "Battery cable's loose," Caleb said. "That'll shut everything down." Relief flashed across Eleanor's face. "Can you fix it?" "Yeah," Caleb replied. "Just need a minute." He tightened the cable with bare hands, knuckles reddening from the cold, rain mixed with grease running down his wrists. "There," he said, stepping back. "Try it now." Eleanor turned the key. The engine roared to life. Her breath caught. "Oh, thank you. I don't know what I would have done." Caleb closed the hood gently. "Happens to a lot of cars. You should be good now." She opened the door slightly. "Please, let me give you something." Caleb shook his head immediately. "No, ma'am, you don't owe me anything." Eleanor frowned. "At least let me pay you for your time." He smiled faintly. "I've been where you are. Just wanted to help." The rain softened, easing into a steady drizzle. "Where are you headed?" Eleanor asked. "Home," Caleb said. "Same as everyone else." She nodded. "Be careful. It's not safe out here." He chuckled softly. "It rarely is." They shared a brief, quiet look, as strangers connected by a moment that would disappear as soon as the rain stopped. "Thank you again," Eleanor said sincerely. Caleb stepped back toward the bus stop. "Have a good night." He didn't know her name, he didn't know her job, and he didn't know that in 48 hours she would be deciding his future. 2 days later, Caleb stood in the courtroom, hands clasped tightly in front of him. His suit was borrowed. His heart pounded loud enough he was sure everyone could hear it. Violation of probation. A missed meeting caused by a double shift his supervisor. Refused to excuse one mistake. One more chance or prison. When the judge entered, the room rose. Caleb lifted his eyes and froze. Behind the bench sat the woman from the highway, Judge Eleanor Whitmore. Her gaze met his for just a fraction of a second. Recognition flashed in her eyes. Then her expression settled into professional calm. Caleb's stomach dropped. Great, he thought. Of all the judges, the prosecutor spoke firmly. "Your Honor, the defendant has shown a pattern of non-compliance. The state recommends revocation." Caleb's lawyer began to argue, voice nervous, explaining the missed meeting, the work schedule, the effort Caleb had made to stay clean, employed, and compliant. Eleanor listened in silence. She looked down at the file, then up at Caleb. "Mr. Johnson," she said evenly, "do you have anything to say for yourself?" Caleb swallowed. "Yes, Your Honor," he said quietly. "I messed up. I won't pretend I didn't, but I've been trying. Every day." He paused, then added, voice steady, "I help where I can. I show up to work. I don't want to go back to who I was." The courtroom was still. Eleanor's fingers tightened slightly on the bench. She remembered rain on her windshield, grease-stained hands. A man who helped without asking questions or expecting anything in return. She took a slow breath. "Mr. Johnson," she said, "probation is meant to correct behavior, not destroy effort." The prosecutor stiffened. Eleanor continued, "I find no evidence that this violation was intentional or malicious." Caleb barely breathed. "I am modifying your probation," she said, "not revoking it." A gasp rippled through the room. "You will complete additional community service," Eleanor said. and your reporting schedule will be adjusted to accommodate your employment. Caleb's knees nearly buckled. Thank you, he whispered that as the gavel struck. Eleanor added quietly. And Mr. Johnson, he looked up. Don't stop being the man who helps people when no one is watching. Their eyes met again. This time, there was no doubt. Outside the courthouse, the sky was clear. Sunlight warmed the steps where Caleb stood, breathing deeply. Free? Across the street, Eleanor watched him for a moment before turning away. Because the moral was simple and powerful. The character is revealed in private moments, not public ones. You never know who's watching how you treat others, and sometimes the kindness you give freely comes back not as luck or coincidence but as justice.